Hi everybody, this is Melissa and we are back for episode 5 of Money Block Talk, where we investigate and eradicate anything that's standing in the way of you making and keeping more money and having the business and life of your dreams. Today we are going to be talking about resistance, and not in the way that you normally hear it spoken about. A lot of people, when they talk about resistance, especially reading The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, which I love that book. It's fabulous, so if you've not read it, definitely read it. But in that, with that perspective, resistance is very much about muscling through, slaying it, killing it, smashing through your resistance and getting through the other side and doing that thing that you're supposed to do. Well, while I might not use such aggressive language typically, I agree that you do need to get beyond your resistance. But today we're talking about honoring your resistance. I don't know if you're familiar with Cheryl Richardson. She wrote a book called Extreme Self-Care, I think. And she's got some really lovely cards that illustrate different principles of self-care and give you different ideas, which I think is really fun. So I found this card I will show it to you. It says, wait. And on the back of it, it says, honor your resistance. Sometimes no action is the best action of all. Which is really counter, again, like I said, really counter what we're hearing, especially in personal development and business circles. It's like, get through it. Well, today I'm going to be telling you about 3 different reasons, 3 different reasons that you should honor your resistance, that you should actually stop and take a step back before trying to get beyond it. Okay, so the first one is pretty simple. Maybe your resistance is actually telling you this is not the right thing, or this is not the right time. Again, like the card says, wait. Maybe your resistance is actually saying, hey, this isn't the right thing. Second, oh yeah, great one, especially coming from a self-care topic, cards. Maybe your resistance is telling you that you actually need to rest rather than charge forward. So often, and I know especially in my life, a recovering workaholic, we push, and we're feeling tired, and then we abuse ourselves, and we beat ourselves up, and we say, you got to finish it. You've got this deadline, just 1 more hour, you can do it. And we try to pep talk ourselves into running ourselves into the ground. When deep down we're like, I don't want to do this. This feels really wrong. I'm tired. And we've got this inner slave driver that's pushing us. Maybe instead of listening to that inner slave driver, listen to the voice of, authenticity and alignment and peace inside that says, hey, actually, the world is not going to fall down around you if you take a break, if you take a day off. Maybe your resistance is telling you to rest. And if you're feeling resistant right now, ask, what is resistance? What are you telling me? Are you telling me this is not the right thing for me, or this is not the right time for me? Or are you telling me that I just need to rest because I'm exhausted? And oh gosh, I have so much to say about the value of taking breaks and resting to keep yourself fresh and keep yourself fresh. Oh, I have this thing that I tell my clients all the time, and you'll probably see it in videos as well, as I've got, and maybe some of you can relate to this, I have these in my brain. It feels like I've got a bazillion thoughts that are fighting to get through the door from my brain through my mouth, and they get stuck. And so all of a sudden I have all these thoughts, and I'm just like a deer in the headlights, because I'm like, okay, which one's coming first? So that's what you saw happen. And instead of bowing to my latent perfectionistic tendencies and stopping the video and starting all over, or having to worry about editing, I'll just tell you what's going on, because I know some of you relate, especially if your brains are like going a mile a minute. You've got tons of ideas and tons of thoughts and tons of things that you want to get out. And sometimes it's like, what am I trying to say? I've totally lost my train of thought, because you guys, there's so many thoughts going through my head. Okay, so that's what happened there. Okay, Thanks for understanding. So the third reason you should pay attention to your resistance is it's trying to communicate to you a point of belief or a point of fear that you need to examine and overcome before you can move forward. Slave driving, beating yourself up, telling yourself you need to finish this or else. I mean, like, what parent, whose parent's voice was that in your head right there? Maybe a video for another topic, video for another time, and another topic. So instead of just forcing yourself and striving to make it happen, what is your resistance telling you about a point of fear or a belief that's stopping you from moving forward? So for example, I'll just give you an example from my week. It's the holidays and my husband's home from work and he's on vacation, and of course, we're living in this beautiful village, seaside village. It's summer where we're living at the moment, so yes, I didn't feel really like doing much work. Meanwhile, I was thinking, but I really, really, really want to communicate with my community. And I was feeling resistant. And part of it was that I just needed to rest. So I allowed myself to do that. And then I investigated and I thought, okay, what belief is this possibly illustrating? And maybe the belief was, well, nobody's gonna have time to read my email if I send it today, and it's just gonna be a waste. Now, if I believed that people were really needing what I had to say, that they really needed this message today, that this was going to help them move forward, this is going to help them accomplish their dreams and their goals, it's going to help them in their businesses, then I probably would have written this email hours ago rather than still sitting on it. So I had to examine that belief. My resistance was showing me that I had a belief, or even a fear, we can call it, that nobody's going to have time to read it, so why should I bother? And I know that there are lots of you who are watching this video who feel the exact same way when it comes to communicating with your audience. Who's going to read it? Who's going to watch this? Who's going to listen to this? Who's going to want it? Because fill in the blanks. Right now, because it's the holidays, or because it's, a Wednesday or a Thursday. I mean, like, we can make up all kinds of excuses. So the point is, once I got with my resistance, didn't try to fight it, just asked it to tell me what it wanted to tell me and show me what it wanted to show me. And I was able to examine that and go, that's actually not a helpful belief, and it's probably not even the truth. So what is a helpful belief and what is a true belief? And it could be, as I said, there are people who need to hear this message. There are people right now during the holidays who are trying to slave drive themselves rather than rest, rather than realize that this thing it's just not the right time, rather than realize that they have a fear that they need to look at and be healed from. Another example of resistance, there might be a program that you want to invest in, or a coach you want to start working with, and you want to, but there's so much resistance. Now, resistance can be sneaky because it can say to you, oh, yeah, this is just not the right time. You don't have the time. You don't have the resources. When, in fact, it's actually covering the truth, which is what resistance is really trying to say to you, is that you're afraid. You're afraid that if you invest the money, you'll never get it back. You're afraid if you invest this money, you'll never get any more. I mean, this is all coming from a scarcity mentality. You're afraid that you don't have the time. But let me tell you, my friend, we all have the same amount of time. It's what we choose to do with it. Do you choose to prioritize yourself and your growth, or do you choose to prioritize, everybody else, all the other things that you've said yes to, all the other things that are slave driving you? So that's just a little something. Those thoughts are trying to get through the door first. So today, whatever you're feeling resistant about, ask it, why am I feeling resistant, rather than try to muscle through and get beyond it. Because when you do that, it's a recipe for burnout, for resentment, and you don't want to be hating your life, hating your business, hating what you're doing. Listen to your resistance, because then once you get on the other side of what it's trying to tell you, you can approach that thing with so much joy, so much fun, positivity, and optimism. It'll be such such a different picture. Okay, so in the comments below, let me know, what have you felt resistant to lately, and what did it try to tell you? What is it telling you, and what are you going to do about it? Okay, until next time, this has been Melissa for Money Block Talk. I will see you for episode 6. Mwah. Bye.